Hello everyone, today we talk about Bulwark, what the class strengths and weaknesses are, and what the best builds for it currently are. In terms of strength, well, firstly, access to Power Fist is a strength in and of itself. You have also the dumbest damage perk in the game. You have a flexible choice between a high amount of tankiness and a good damage output, as well as the ability to heal in AoE or grant AoE damage reduction. In terms of weaknesses, you will struggle in some ranged encounters. That's the main weakness Bulwark has. Now, let's take a quick look at the builds. First build I want to broach is going to be what I'll call the damage dealing one. So the one where you pack as much damage as you can. Firstly, you go with Intimidating Aura. We will always be running that perk with one singular exception. It's a great perk, massive amount of damage, you always want it. When I say we had access to the dumbest damage perk in the game, that's it. You kill people by simply existing. Shock and Awe and Defensive Advantage, so those two go hand in hand. We get a shock area every 30 seconds when we parry, and we inflict 25% more damage to enemies in a shock area. Those two just pair really well and actually feed a lot of extra damage, be it in melee or be it range damage, because this counts as range damage, while still holding control, because we choose when we trigger it or not, right? Advanced Conditioning versus Focused Restoration. So this is kind of up for debate. I'd say on Power Fist, Focused Restoration is a bit better. On other weapons, I have a preference for Advanced Conditioning. It's a bit up in the air. Both are just very, very good, and it's a bit of a flavor of which one you'd prefer, at least in most contexts. Purity of Purpose, best perk here, deals AoE damage. Just, again, a lot of extra damage. You can use your banner as a shock area to defend some specific choke points. It's just a very good perk. It also deals a lot of damage, surprisingly, to Terminus if you can hold them onto it. So Carnies, Hellbrutes, etc. will take a lot of damage on that. Glorious Shield or Invigorating Icon. So here's the real debate between the two. If I'm running true solo, I prefer Glorious Shield most of the time. The main reason for that is if you are not losing HP regularly, or if you're not like low on HP, the game will give you less stims, and because you're running true solo, you are getting less stims already by default. So Glorious Shield means you still have a very useful perk and you'll still be generating stims, whereas if you use the Invigorating Icon, you have to spend your banner to heal and you don't have your cooldown up as much, so you've got more downtime, more vulnerability, and you're still generating less stims because you're not as often on low HP. So not a big fan of, or I'm not the biggest fan of Invigorating Icon for solo runs. For team runs though, it's going to depend. You have to bear in mind there's like diminishing returns on both ends of the skill spectrum with this perk. If your teammates are very good, they don't need it. If your teammates are very bad, well, they're going to die anyway, so healing them changes nothing. So it's for anything in the middle, Invigorating Icon is going to be really good. It's a great perk. It's just more conditional than people think, and there's a lot of value in having a higher banner uptime. Next up, Inspiration. It's my favorite here if we're looking at true solos, and even just in team setting, that isn't like anything that's not Siege really. 20% more damage, great perk. Armored Advance, pretty simple. We have armor, we do not lose control upon taking heavy hits, and cannot be knocked back. 10 out of 10, always good to run. Some people make Defensive Mastery work really well. I'm not a huge fan of it. I very much prefer Armored Advance. In terms of prestige perks, Auxiliary Reload, non-negotiable. We want ammo back when we kill extremists in melee. It's just very good because we are limited by our ammo in the first place. Masterful Defense, non-negotiable. Ability Charge helps a lot, and Banner is too useful to not want as much uptime as possible on it. And Overcharge, more damage on charge attack, which includes Power Fist and Chainsword, so we want that. This one, Emboldened Stand, is like up to debate. I think realistically Powerful Shot or the Stim Effectiveness is probably better, but for siege purposes I run that one, as I value helping my teammates get a non-stagger perk. it's subjective and it's not necessarily the best. Again, you've got choices here between this one and the range damage or the stims. Now, let's take a look at the weapons you run with that. So, to no one's surprise, first up is going to be Block Power Fist, as you could expect. Block Power Fist just mitigates a lot of the weaknesses of being a melee class because you can actually punch stuff from range. So that makes a massive difference in terms of how you play the game, and it gets you out of a lot of situations. You can punch Zoans, you can punch Neuros, you also do a ridiculous amount of damage if you've got block stacks. Block variant, the build is made to be played with block, honestly. It's just incredibly strong with it, synergizes super well, and yeah, Power Fist is just a powerhouse in and of itself. It's a weapon in a category of its own when you're talking about melee weapons, mostly because it bypasses the problems of being a melee weapon. In terms of other options, my favourite other option is the Chainsword. Chainsword is honestly the second best melee weapon in the game after Power Fist. And like I said, Power Fist is a bit of a category of its own. This is just flexible, slaps like a truck, simple, effective. Honestly, just get your double block stack, throttle, skip, shoulder bash. Intimidating aura on top of it will kill anyone. Like, this will be a lot of damage pumped out, pretty much for free. And is my favorite to play with Power Fist. I'll show roughly what that kind of looks like.
There is no stable ground. Our captain our adversary wishes to renew their assault. Deny them any advantage. Inserting ground. See those tunnel up below. Tyranny tunnel. We still have supports to wire. We need more bombs. Eyes peeled. The Xenos leader beast will be in visual range shortly.
Now, quickly, the next build is going to be the one that I call I struggle with block, basically, or alternatively, I want to play heroic weapons, because they're balance only. So, Bulwark and pretty much any character is going to function better with block weapons, but some specific builds can make balance weapons pretty close in terms of overall performance. This is one of those. The main issue is you're losing a lot of the natural weapon damage to rely a lot more on intimidating aura and gunstrike damage. Meaning if something doesn't like try to hit you, you're going to take ages to kill it. But realistically, you still get some really good damage output. Intimidating aura, still the same. We've just added armor reinforcement for the innate tankiness and armor generation, and we have advanced conditioning to slow the HP drop off. The rest of the build is pretty much the same. Right, we've just grabbed scrambled targeting because it makes no sense to grab shock and awe if we're not running defensive advantage. So armor reinforcement plus this, and this will pair really well with the balance power axe or the Xeno phase. You can also use it with the heroic chainsword. Those three weapons are going to be the best options you have when it comes to running this build. Yeah, I was going to say balanced power sword, but again, if you're grabbing a balanced power sword, just grab Xeno phase, right? And now on to the stupid build. I'll call it the stupid build because it really is retarded. The whole thing is you just slap people to death with a shield. That's it. That's it. We keep intimidating aura because we get more value out of it than we do out of forward momentum. Sure, 30% extra damage would be nice, but we pack a hell of a lot of damage already on shield bash, and intimidating aura just does way too much for us in AoE. It is just too good. We keep shock and awe again for the extra damage. Again, advanced conditioning versus focused restoration is just like preference here. It's kind of cosmetic at some point. I feel like they give roughly similar value. Purity of purpose, that wouldn't budge. Now, concussive force. 200% more shield bash damage and 100% shield rush. We slap. So you can, for those who don't know, you can actually input shield bash really quickly. Like, you can have a really high attack rate with shield bash, and it's the best DPS you can get on the class. It's kind of surprising. So it has really good single target damage. And then we run Merciless Resolve. We run Merciless Resolve to have the anti-stagger, and we can drop Armored Advance in favor of Defensive Mastery, because again, we have anti-stagger here, right? So yeah, those two are enough to make the build function, and I'll showcase what it looks like when you just punch people to death with your shield. That's all the gameplay is about. You run on the side normally a Power Fist with this, just to make sure that you have the option of using your Power Fist on anything too ranged, and also because you actually benefit from focused intention whilst charging Shield Rush, if ever it were required. So here's what it looks like.
Use the codes to prime the bomb and finish its deployment into the crude Promethean well. Cautiously. The capable is good for you. There is no saving ground. Honor our captive cousin. Soil no longer threatens as a rapid presence. Bomb is in place, Command. There is an observation platform overlooking the crude Promethean.
And last but not least, I won't spend ages over this one because it is pretty well known by now, I think, but this is the best siege build you can get. The thing is, in siege you're going to be taking a lot of damage, and in higher waves enemies get a lot of damage reduction. So you lose a lot of the value intimidating aura has, and you get a lot more value out of damage reduction, which is why we're running Conviction, we're running Scramble Targeting, and we're running Steel Within. This will really allow us to tank a lot whilst we charge our Power Fist and just punch people in the face. And that's it. We rely for damage mostly on the double block stacks and Power Fist. On top of that, we run Focused Restoration. This is mostly for the tactical player and ourselves. It's really helpful in higher waves. When I say higher, think like 25 plus. It's really helpful to have this extra damage reduction, and that's why you run it. This every 30 seconds means you can basically face tank one hit by trading with Power Fist. It's really good for anyone on your team. And the last one will be Rejuvenating Effect, which we use to get people back up at crucial moments so that your banner now becomes a clutch tool for revive. And that's Overall, the best siege build, along with Power Fist, and of course, the Fire Rate Plasma Pistol. As a finishing note, to summarize Bulwark, currently we're in a very good spot on Bulwark. He's very strong, does pretty much everything well, it's very fun to play. Honestly, there's not much else to say other than that. It's a very nice, strong class right now. You've got some flexibility, you have some good weapon options, you bring a lot to a team. You're basically like one of the 3 strongest classes in the game. It's between Bulwark, Tactical, and Heavy. For me, Heavy is number 1, and then it's like Tactical and Bulwark are neck and neck. I value damage more than I do tankiness, so I would tend to put Tactical a bit higher, just because of all specs. But realistically, Banner and just even the overall damage Bulwark brings is really not shabby. So great class to pick up if you like melee. It is a ton of fun.